People often underestimate hell. They casually say it's as hot as hell when the temperature hasn't even reached 40 degrees Celsius. They even joke, "Let's raise a glass in hell," while those in that dreadful place beg for a single drop of water to cool their tongues, but find none. Luke 16:24. The truth is, hell is terrifying, so much so that it's better to lose a hand, a foot, or an eye and be spared from entering it. God intended hell as a place of punishment for Satan and his angels. He never desired for mankind to be deceived and led astray into rebellion, joining Satan in that torment. This is why Jesus Christ had to come to earth and suffer a painful death on the cross, bearing the sins of humanity so they wouldn't face the horrific punishment of hell alongside Satan. Hell is mankind's deepest fear because it embodies utter darkness and is the domain of the 7 princes of hell, the most powerful and fearsome demons in the Bible. They personify the 7 deadly sins, the gravest sins of humanity. So, who are the 7 princes of hell? And which sins do they represent? Let's delve into that in today's video. Before we begin, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to stay updated with all things related to the Bible. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, I pray that you receive abundant blessings from God. Amen. Let's get started. 1. Lucifer, the fallen angel. The 7 princes of hell correspond to the 7 deadly sins, with Lucifer embodying pride. Once considered the most perfect angel God ever created, Lucifer's name means light bearer. He was the highest-ranking angel, a 6-winged seraph, the most beautiful, the most skilled, the most powerful, but also the most defiant. Lucifer refused to submit to humanity as God commanded, leading 14,400 angels, 1/3 of heaven's army, in rebellion, sparking the infamous Hell vs. Heaven War. Defeated by the warrior angels, Lucifer was expelled from heaven and became the ruler of the 18 layers of hell, a demon known for his immense power and unparalleled pride. The angels who fell with Lucifer are now known as the fallen angels, still hoping that one day their exile might end, allowing them to return to heaven. In Hebrew, Lucifer's name is Hail, Isaiah 14:12, meaning morning star or light bearer. This was the official name of Satan, the king of demons, before his fall. Moreover, Lucifer is also identified with the serpent in Genesis and the dragon in Revelation. Indeed, the negative portrayal of Lucifer in Christianity has greatly influenced other faiths and human beliefs. Christianity emphasizes the epic battle between God and Lucifer and how God swiftly cast him and the other fallen angels out of heaven. According to Orthodox Christian teachings, Lucifer was the first and most beautiful of angels, who always trusted and loved God, but despised mankind. Due to his arrogance, Lucifer felt insulted when God required him and the other angels to bow down and serve humanity. Together with over 14,000 fallen angels, he rose in defiance against God. The Jews took this concept further, claiming that Lucifer's adoration was reserved for God alone, which is why he refused to love any other creature. After his fall, Lucifer sought to devour the souls of men in Isaiah 14:12. Lucifer is equated with an evil king of Babylon who conquered Jerusalem. According to the mystic S.L. Mathers in the forbidden text, the Book of Mammon and the Mage, Lucifer is one of the 4 primordial demons, alongside Satan, Belal, and Leviathan. Lucifer also appears among the 72 demons of King Solomon, described as one of 3 demons who can control all others. Some Christian demonologists differentiate Satan, Lucifer, and Beelzebub as distinct entities with separate ranks in the infernal hierarchy. Some suggest this represents a kind of unholy trinity, mirroring the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit in Christianity, though most demonologists reject this idea. Lucifer remains one of the 7 princes of hell, representing the sin of pride. In various versions of demonology, the identities of other demons and their associated sins may vary, but Lucifer's role never changes. Due to his prideful sin, Lucifer fell from God's grace and was condemned to hell. Many sources still refer to Lucifer by the name Satan, often equating the two. However, Satan is not necessarily a singular fixed entity, but rather a term that can be used to describe any force that opposes God. 2. Asmodus, the Prince of Lust. Asmodus is an ancient and primordial demon, first appearing in the deuterocanonical Book of Tobit. He represents lust and is the powerful king of the 9 layers of hell, commanding 85 legions of demons. Asmodus is also one of the 7 princes of hell, embodying the deadly sin of lust mentioned in the Bible. The Book of Tobit tells the story of Asmodeus being infatuated with a woman named Sarah. He killed her 7 husbands on their wedding nights to prevent her marriages. When Tobias sought to marry her, Asmodeus planned to do the same, but he was thwarted by the archangel Raphael. Some sources say Asmodeus was born of Adam and Nama, the protector of prostitutes, after Adam wed Lilith. In Jewish texts, however, he is considered the child of Nama and Shamdon. Before his fall, Asmodeus was a high-ranking seraphim angel, symbolizing the night sky. After the war in heaven, he was cast into hell, becoming one of Lucifer's most loyal allies. Asmodeus is typically depicted with 3 heads, one of a bull, one of a man breathing fire, and one of a ram. His tail resembles a serpent, his mouth spews fire from the depths of the 18th layer of hell, and his feet are webbed like a goose. He rides a dragon, carrying a spear in one hand and a banner in the other, followed by legions of souls consumed by lust or a desire for vengeance. Asmodeus is one of the most famous demons who has wielded immense power in the human world for millennia, known as the Lord of the Black Moon. His name is linked to Ashmadev, one of the most malevolent spirits in Iranian tradition, a demon of wrath and desire, often conquering human souls. The Malleus Maleficarum calls him the Prince of Incubi and Succubi, emphasizing his connection to carnal desires. In the Lemegend, Asmodeus, ranked 32nd, the king ruling the East, is considered one of the most significant demons among the 72 listed, alongside Belal, Belet, and Gay-Ap. Riding a dragon, Asmodeus governs the deeper levels of the element of sensuality. His 3 heads of a bull, a ram, and a man symbolize his inherent freedom from birth. His rooster-like legs also signify his power over sensuality. As the ruler of the dark moon forces, Asmodeus dominates the darker side of sensuality, which is why he is often called the demon of lust and debauchery, the husband of Lilith, the dark mother of the world. Unlike Astaroth, who complements the dark mother's power, Asmodeus is her male counterpart, though less significant than the female force. This role parallels the ancient figure of Dionysus, though without the demonic traits characteristic of Asmodeus. The legend of Asmodeus's submission to Solomon and the demon's role as the builder of the temple demonstrates that ascension to the divine throne could only be achieved after sensuality was brought into the light of reason. At the same time, Asmodeus acts as an unpredictable and dangerous spontaneous force beyond human standards. Solomon sought to impose his magical power on him, and Asmodeus revealed a secret, the mystery of the shamir, which allowed one to cut stones magically, avoiding forbidden iron tools and aiding in the temple's construction. Additionally, Asmodeus provided Solomon with a magical book called the Book of Asmodeus, referenced in the Zohar. In return, Solomon invited Asmodeus to display his power and handed him his magic ring. Asmodeus transformed into a giant winged figure, casting Solomon far away and taking his place as king. Solomon wandered in exile, atoning for his pride while Asmodeus ruled Jerusalem Gittin. Here, Asmodeus betrayed his nature as a lustful demon and an enemy of marriage by systematically violating the ritual prohibitions that ensured the sanctity of marriage in Solomon's harem. It is believed that the great ring was the key to Asmodeus's power, and he shall bow to the ground and present the ring of power Lemegend. As mentioned earlier, Tobit recounts Asmodeus's passion for Sarah, the daughter of Raguel. Yet there is also a belief that the serpent Asmodeus and the serpent that tempted Eve are one and the same creature. This legend highlights the contrast between Asmodeus, the demon of lust in its broadest sense, and the archangel Raphael, the angel of good thoughts, representing the Jewish Christian idea of restraining destructive emotional and sensual impulses through thoughtful efforts. Though this opposition is logical and effective, it is not entirely harmonious, as only archangels of corresponding realms, such as Gabriel and Uriel, are truly capable of restraining Asmodeus. The most significant aspect of Asmodeus's legends is his role as a particular enemy of one of the sacred institutions, marriage. In the Middle Ages, it was believed that witches were subject to Asmodeus, and sorcerers sought his assistance, attempting to harness his power against their enemies. Asmodeus is a demon with a closed heart. He thrives when whim and caprice rule over emotions and desires, and for millennia, the uncontrollable force of passion has been stigmatized by society and fanatics alike. The incredible difficulty of controlling this element has drawn continuous attention from theologians. He stands in opposition to the most devout saints, such as John the Baptist, who overcame his emotions by retreating to the desert, showing the way for many slayers of the flesh. However, fleeing from sensuality is an acknowledgement of Asmodeus's invincibility and act of betrayal against him. New Age witches recognize this, notably Aleister Crowley, who earned the reputation as the most depraved man of his time. Yet by plunging into the abyss of passion, Asmodus remains undefeated in his world. He is the sovereign ruler. Many proclaim one must reach the depths of desire to transcend it but remain trapped within, too exhausted to rise to the surface. Here lies the great danger of sexual magic, which awakens not only powerful creative forces but also Asmodus's might. At the same time, like any truly demonic being, he fears the light of consciousness, preferring the darkness of primordial hell, from which he commands his will, not just driving one to obvious depravity, but, more dangerously, betraying one's voice, the voice of love. Nothing illustrates Asmodus more than the modern expression making love aside from its vulgarity. It is Asmodus who has degraded love to an occupation, stripping it of its sacred essence. The efforts of Lilith and Asmodus have led to love becoming a vanishing phenomenon, and the ability to love and be loved is now one of the rarest of skills. Neither escaping from sensuality nor becoming consumed by it is the triumph over Asmodus. Only a heart open to selfless love, only honesty with oneself and the clarity of consciousness can drive away the demon of lust. As one of the highest-ranking demons in hell's hierarchy, and a devout follower of Lucifer, Asmodus possesses particular cunning and skill. He stirs aggression, envy, desire, and hatred in the hearts of men, capable of crushing any semblance of benevolence. 3. Beelzebub, Lord of the Skies. In theology, especially in Christianity, Beelzebub is often regarded as another name for the Lord of Hell, closely associated with Satan. However, he is frequently considered a prince of hell. In the Old Testament of Solomon, Beelzebub is forced to submit to the power of the king's magical ring. He proclaims himself as the leader of demons residing on the morning star. According to various classifications, Beelzebub represents the sin of gluttony. Gluttony is considered a sin when one's appetite exceeds the necessary needs of a normal person. It can also be seen as selfishness, as it places one's own desires above others. During times of famine, war, or similar crises, when food becomes scarce, people could inadvertently kill someone simply by feeding them too much. Before his fall from heaven, Beelzebub was once an extremely powerful angel. He is the dragon lord of the dragons, creatures that carried the deadliest plagues, taking the lives of millions. Beelzebub retains the ability to shapeshift and can create pestilence at will. Furthermore, he is believed to bring forth an army of African warriors, the culprits behind dangerous sleeping sickness. Beelzebub symbolizes tyrants, those who endanger others, the worship of dark spirits, and embodies the lustful desires of priests. He brings forth jealousy, murder, and war. Among the 7 princes of hell, Beelzebub is known as the Lord of the Flies, a terrifying fallen angel second only to Lucifer. Returning to the war in heaven, when Lucifer grew resentful of God's love for humanity and incited rebellion among the angels, Beelzebub, along with Leviathan, was one of the first seraphim to fall and side with Lucifer. After being defeated by Archangel Michael and the loyal angels, Beelzebub was cast out of heaven alongside Lucifer and 133,306,668 other fallen angels. In hell, Beelzebub continued to serve as a commander under Lucifer, leading his own demonic army known as the Order of the Flies. The name Beelzebub is the Greek transcription of the Hebrew term Baalz at Vuv, meaning Lord of the Flies. Besides Lucifer, Beelzebub is one of the few demons mentioned in both the Old and New Testaments of the Bible, where he is referred to as the god of filth. Archaeological excavations of the Philistine city of Ekron uncovered relics and carvings depicting flies, believed to represent Beelzebub. This demon could have been the ancient explanation for cholera epidemics caused by flies. In modern times, flies are no longer a threat in certain countries because we have various methods to eliminate them. However, in ancient times, when flies appeared in large numbers, they could trigger devastating plagues in entire communities. In addition to spreading disease, Beelzebub also possesses human tyrants, taking on a powerful figure to create chaos and spread suffering among mankind. Beelzebub's character and inclinations are most thoroughly detailed in the Book Testament of Solomon. According to this text, Beelzebub was one of the demons summoned by King Solomon to help him build a massive temple in the holy city of Jerusalem. Upon appearing, Beelzebub told Solomon, "I was once an angel of the heavens, as bright as the morning star. I bring destruction through tyrants, make men worship demons, cause priests to succumb to lust, stir up jealousy among people, leading them to murder and war. Thus, Beelzebub identifies himself as the morning star, equating himself with the evening star, also known as Lucifer. In reality, both terms refer to the same celestial body, the planet Venus, but with different names depending on its visibility. When Venus is seen at dusk, it is called the evening star. When seen at dawn, it is known as the morning star. In some apocryphal texts, such as the Gospel of Nicodemus written in the 5th century BC, Beelzebub is quoted as saying, "I, Prince of Hell, heir to power, and destroyer of everything since the time of Adam and his descendants, will continue to do so, even if that is the only task left to me." 4. Belal, the Prince of Wrath. Belal, also known as Belal, is a powerful demon that existed before Satan. Belal symbolizes the indulgence of the depraved, the godless, the worthless, and those who are fanatically devoted to blasphemy. While the New Testament speaks of Satan as the ruler of hell, Belal was once considered his predecessor. In demonology, he is one of the most renowned demons under Satan's command and embodies the sin of wrath. Belal's sin is regarded as one of the most dangerous. Anger can manifest in many forms, including a lack of control, hatred, misery, revenge, and self-destruction, such as through addiction, violence, or suicide. This sin often leads to murder or escalates into larger conflicts and wars. A being from ancient times, created by God, Belal has been depicted as an enormous creature resembling an elephant, rhinoceros, or hippopotamus. He is seen as a formidable entity representing hatred and anger. This is the essence of Belal. Another interpretation suggests that the demon representing hatred and malice is Satan or Mammon. He is believed to have transformed into a serpent that tempted Adam and Eve to steal the forbidden fruit in the Garden of Eden, always seeking to sow hatred in human hearts. Satan is known for his cunning and treachery, giving rise to the saying, "Devilish schemes." One of Satan's greatest strengths is his ability to disguise himself, manipulating people to serve his destructive plans. Satan has the power to infiltrate humans, turning them into wicked beings. Some even believe that Satan causes mental illnesses and is responsible for making people commit heinous crimes. The term Belal appears 27 times in the Masoretic text, describing those who worship false gods and commit grievous sins. In the Dead Sea Scrolls, the names Angel of Light and Angel of Darkness are mentioned. God represents the Angel of Light, while Belal represents the opposite. In Amram's vision, the father of Moses, Belal is depicted as the Lord of Hell and the Prince of Darkness. Belal is also considered to be the one who incited the Egyptian sorcerers to rise against Moses. All those who worship Belal are witches or sorcerers. In the Old Testament writings of the 12 patriarchs, which is linked to the Old Testament, the demon is described as an enemy of God, referred to as the tempter. The text claims that lust will draw people closer to Belal and farther from God. Once a soul is tainted, Belal takes dominion over it. However, the text also mentions that the Messiah will punish the demon and his followers, preventing his return. Another apocryphal text portrays Belal as the angel of sin and claims that he is the one who rules the world. Many esoteric works mention Belal, including the 72 Demons of Solomon, Aleister Crowley's Goetia, and the Satanic Bible. In Goetia, Belal is the king of demons and the second creation after Lucifer. He grants magic to witches and appears as an angel standing beside a fiery chariot. A 15th century nobleman, Gilles de Rais, sought to summon Belal by using body parts from his victims, numbering in the hundreds, as offerings. He was ultimately convicted as a serial killer and sentenced to death. 5. Belphegor, the Demon Lord of Sloth. Belphegor is perhaps the most obscure among the 7 princes of hell. He embodies the sin of sloth and is one of hell's 7 royal demons. Belphegor corrupts humanity, preying on their minds by initially sending cryptic messages and subtle signs of his presence. Gradually, he turns ordinary people paranoid and anxious, draining their life force until they are left as hollow shells. To protect oneself from Belphegor, one must maintain a strong mind, have control, and be able to discern truth from deception, avoiding his seductive temptations. Belphegor lures and deceives people with sweet promises, offering them riches through clever inventions, claiming that his followers will live a life of ease and comfort, growing wealthy with little effort. The name Belphegor is believed to originate from Baal Peor, the fertility god worshipped by the Israelites in the region of Abel Shittim, who was also the patron deity of Moabite women in Assyria. Belphegor is an evil god representing debauchery, licentiousness, and sexual immorality. Belphegor is often depicted either as a beautiful woman seducing men or as a demon with a beard, horns, and sharp claws. At one point, Satan sent Belphegor to the human world, commanding him to find proof of happiness and love among humans, specifically in Paris, France. Belphegor lived there but could find no evidence of love or happiness in human marriage. He concluded that humans often deceive themselves into thinking they are in love, but in reality they are merely afraid of living alone. This story, along with the name Belphegor, became a symbol of hatred and adultery. In Jewish culture during the Exodus, Belphegor was considered the same as Baal Peor, and many people willingly followed and worshipped him. This was because the Israelites began forming relationships with Moabite women, who were worshippers of Baal Peor. This infuriated Moses to the point that he decreed death for anyone who became a devotee of this evil god. It is said that the death toll during that period reached 24,000 people, and some believe Moses unleashed a plague to kill them. Belphegor, as the embodiment of sloth, poisons humanity, preying on their minds with vague messages and his characteristic signs. He turns ordinary people paranoid, drains their life force, and leaves behind lifeless bodies. To resist Belphegor, one must have a strong mind, self-control, and the ability to distinguish truth from deception, avoiding his traps. According to a 4th century scholar, Belphegor is strongest in April. Thomas Aquinas argued that many sins stem from apathy and inaction. In Scripture, Belphegor is a demon, the enemy of the 6th Sephiroth, the angel who protects beauty, while Belphegor embodies doubt. Many believe this opposition exists because beauty in life cannot be doubted or diminished. 6. Leviathan, the sea monster of hell. According to legend, Leviathan was created by God on the 5th day, a massive sea monster. However, in the Psalms, Leviathan is not depicted as an evil creature, but rather as one of God's creations of the sea. Initially, God created both a male and a female Leviathan, but fearing that these creatures would destroy the world, he killed the female and used its flesh for a banquet at the end of days. Leviathan is also seen as a representation of Satan, bearing similarities to serpents and dragons. This demon is one of the 7 princes of hell, symbolizing the sin of envy, considered one of the most toxic sins, second only to pride. Envy is believed to cause people to lose themselves, bringing sorrow, disappointment, and pain to others. It is thought to be the driving force behind Cain's murder of his brother Abel, as Cain felt that Abel was more beloved by God. Alongside Behemoth, Leviathan was created by God in primordial times. Leviathan represents jealousy and envy, a fearsome sea monster that roams the oceans, terrifying in form, unmatched in strength, and emitting a nauseating stench of blood. It is described as a hybrid of demonic creatures, with the head of a dragon, the strong body of a serpent, and an outer hide resembling crocodile skin. Leviathan was regarded as a guardian of the gates of hell, connecting to the earthly realm. Once, Leviathan was a high-ranking angel who served alongside God in heaven. Some legends suggest that it was Leviathan who transformed into the serpent to tempt Adam and Eve, driven by jealousy toward humans for God's favor. Numerous myths surround Leviathan, the 6th prince of hell. However, the tale of a primordial monster ruling the seas with divine, destructive power is perhaps the most well-known and haunting to humanity. Leviathan is recognized as a colossal sea monster created by Yahweh, the God of Christianity. While many other mythological creatures possess similar powers, it is believed that none are as dangerous as Leviathan, whose terror stems from its possession of Yahweh's omnipotent strength. This sea creature is described as enormous, spanning at least 300 miles. Some accounts say Leviathan is protected by 2 layers of scales, as hard as steel, so tightly packed that even air cannot penetrate. Its eyes and flippers are said to glow, especially when it rises above the water's surface. Some believe Leviathan could be a dragon, a water serpent, or a gigantic whale. According to legend, Leviathan is one of 3 primordial creatures wielding unparalleled power on Earth. This trio includes Behemoth, a bull-like beast ruling the land, Ziz, a dragon-like creature ruling the sky, and Leviathan, the most ferocious and powerful, ruling the oceans. Yahweh initially created a pair of Leviathans to guard the seas, but with time he realized that these 2 creatures should not coexist, as their offspring would eventually overrun the world. To protect his other creations, Yahweh chose to kill the female Leviathan, leading to an earth-shaking battle. Ultimately, Yahweh prevailed. The male Leviathan grieved deeply over the loss of its companion and awaited the time it could battle Yahweh once again. Perhaps the most terrifying aspect of Leviathan is that it is not inherently demonic but thrives on chaos, especially among Yahweh's chosen creatures. Leviathan instills fear in everyone because of its supernatural powers. It is known that Leviathan can breathe fire. When its head rises above the water, flames are said to shoot from its mouth and nostrils. Its eyes also emit fire when it is on land. Leviathan radiates extreme heat, which can cause the surrounding water to boil, allowing it to kill prey and terrorize humans. Additionally, the creature's breath is incredibly foul, essentially toxic. Anyone or anything exposed to it is doomed to die. Ancient texts indicate that Leviathan could kill every living creature in heaven if allowed to enter, solely through the deadly stench of its breath. 7. Mammon, the Lord of Wealth. The seventh prince, and also the seventh demon of hell, is named Mammon. The term mammon in the New Testament is often used to refer to money, material wealth, human greed, or a force that can bestow riches. During medieval times, this greed was personified as a demon and became one of the seven princes of hell. Mammon's greatest power is his ability to influence the human mind, causing people to become envious, greedy, and corrupt, even turning the purest of hearts into those tainted by materialism. The power of Mammon can lead to an insatiable obsession with wealth, driving people to strive endlessly to obtain everything they desire. In the Middle Ages, Mammon was considered an evil deity and one of the seven princes of hell. He commanded a vast army of 6,660,000 demons waiting to act upon his command. Mammon often appears as a wealthy king, using his riches to deepen his influence over human souls. Even the most righteous people are not immune to the temptation of money, as it is believed they can be transformed by Mammon's influence. According to legend, Mammon commands 6,660,000 legions of demons, wielding considerable authority. Though he has existed since medieval times, Mammon has no consistent physical form. There are countless descriptions of this demon, from a scrawny figure with blood-red skin to a massive, emperor-like figure, or a strange old man who easily blends into the crowd. Mammon's most distinctive trait is his ostentatious display of wealth and riches. This demon constantly seeks to flaunt his wealth, often adorning himself with lavish jewelry and precious gems or boasting of his riches in front of others. He may invite people to his grand home filled with treasures. Regardless of the situation, Mammon will find a way to showcase his wealth, seducing people as persuasively as a pyramid scheme salesman. As the demon of wealth and greed, Mammon's greatest strength lies in his ability to manipulate human minds, poisoning their souls and hearts with selfish, materialistic, and envious thoughts. His power can corrupt even the most virtuous individuals, causing them to become wasteful, decadent, and morally bankrupt. Mammon's influence fosters an enduring obsession with material gain, driving people to seek out everything they covet. With 6,660,000 demons under his control, ready to obey his every command, Mammon's manipulation of human energy and minds has led some theologians to believe he has the power to enslave people to his will. With the rise of Christianity under Roman rule, many believers sought to fill Mammon's role with a god from Greco-Roman mythology. As a result, there are records that equate Mammon with Plutus, the god of wealth. But Plutus was not only a dispenser of riches, he also sowed envy and was linked to the underworld due to his association with valuable mineral deposits deep within the earth. Thus, Plutus became a fitting counterpart to Mammon in Christian thought. If you've made it this far, with the blessing of God, please share this with your loved ones so that they too can learn about this. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so we can be motivated to create more videos about the Bible. We hope to see you in the next video. May God bless and protect you always. Amen.